It's the morning before Christmas, so I figured I'd give the gift of a rant to all the people that follow my Facebook page. It's more, I don't know if it's a rant, but it's going to be a quick update on what I'm doing this summer, as well as mainly what I'm doing with this car. So I was going to be running the Swifty V4 as well as the Gardos, but unfortunately, because this is in bits, I'm not going to run either until hopefully March. I'll have this car out at the Hampton Downs, whatever that meeting is with the Formula 5000. So the focus has moved to rebuild the motor. It popped a head gasket, but it didn't just pop a head gasket. It really did it because of two main factors. This motor was running a lot of static, dynamic compression because of the camshaft choice. It didn't have a Formula 5000 camshaft in it. It had a fast road cam, which had about 25 degrees less duration than what you'd expect. And as a result, the fueling issues that this car had, which I solved before the last round, but too late, it popped a gasket just because the dynamic compression was so high that all it took was a minor fuel issue and it's damaged the head gaskets. So they all damaged on the slow side, but this one actually popped. So how I'm going to solve that, I was just going to do a quick rebuild and have it ready for scope, but unfortunately one of the pistons has cracked through the back side. You can see that there. So that's a foreign object getting in there at some point and trying to push its way through the top. Fortunately, these pistons are not off-the-shelf pistons. They're at a weird compression height, and there was nothing I could buy and modify that would have me out at scope quick enough. So the focus has moved to, what do I need to replace? I needed to replace the crankshaft, the camshaft, the pistons, the lifters, the valve springs, just everything on that motor. So I was like, oh, well, I've got the flat plane lying around. Why not put together something that's truly unique? There are a couple of others running in the world, but it's one of one car with maybe one of a handful motors. And classic racing is all about uniqueness and sort of showing off that history. So that's what I'm going to do. It will bring with it its own problems, one of them being the amount of vibration it will face, and as a result, I can sort of mitigate that somewhat by going for a modern approach. So the new pistons, they'll turn up in February, but they're going to be much lighter than what I was running as well as the original one. This is about 660 gram, 540 gram. The new one will be about 460 grams, including the pin. It'll be an ultra lightweight piston. Nice flat top with reasonably short skirts, and I've also changed the rod ratio because the original rod is 5.9. I was running a 6. I'm going to run a 6.125 inch rod. This rod is much lighter than the two other options, so it's just an Eagle rod, nothing special, but it's the lightest I-beam they make. Rated for the power, more than enough metal there to hold it in situ, but I was going to run titanium rods. I actually bought a couple prototypes and machined them down to Holden size. I would then need to get them recoated, which there's a couple of places in America that would do it. But in the end, I decided it's just too hard to line all that up, and it would also be quite a annoying maintenance item that I'd suddenly have to check the rods all the time to make sure that they weren't wearing the face, just because titanium sort of chews its face out if it rubs on titanium, whereas the steel 4340 is quite happy to rub on itself without destroying or galling up. But they are lighter, so in terms of rod weights, I think This is about 700. That's 650. This is a bit over 600. This came in at 440. So the secondary vibration would have been a lot better with the titanium, but it's just not worth the hassle. And this new setup will be about 35% less vibration at 7,500 RPM than the original setup. So there's a reasonable win with this new setup, but I'll have to modify these rods. They're a Chev size, so I have to narrow them, and then on the crank I have to take that down 20 odd thou or 25 thou, whatever it is. I'll work out the exact number. I think it's 24 thou before getting it done. Yeah, so still waiting for pistons. They'll be here sometime in February, and Brian Hartley's sorting me out with a camshaft. I did have 2 flat plane camshafts for this, but both of them were missing the timing gear on the back. There would have been a reasonable cost in getting just the timing gear, and it probably would have been not much different from just getting a whole new camshaft made. So Brian had some contact that could send him a blank, and then he's machining up the lobes for me with the profile that I worked out would suit this application best. The goal is to rev to 7.5. At Manfield I was stuck revving to 7. Holden sort of fall apart at 8,000, so we won't go there. Yeah, so that's an update. I've got 2 more sets of rims have turned up from Youngblood, and they're 10 kilos a set lighter than the Arrow wheels I've been running, so that's a huge win for unsprung mass, and it should be running a bit more power with the new motor, but we'll be back in March is the goal. So the next time I do an update will probably be once the motor and everything's going together, and then there should be some hopefully a startup video. So Merry Christmas all, and we'll see you out in the new year.